What's good? It's a Stream Caution here. Today I'm going to go over my official AEW Forbidden Door review. I'm going to go over every match of the card, what I thought of each and every match, what I thought of the potential feuds of each and every match, what I think could lead after every single match. If you like daily wrestling content, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, because I upload daily wrestling content, so you should enjoy my content. I'm going to go ahead and jump straight into the review. The first match starts off with is Adam Copeland, Christian Cage versus Kit Sapien and Killswitch, aka Luchasaurus. This match was fine. Nothing too major, nothing too special. The main story was really just Adam and Christian first time teaming up in over 20 years. And then with Kip Sapien trying to be more so the leader of Killswitch. He looks like they're teasing a potential dissension of the matriarchy of Kit Sapien trying to take more of that leadership role since Christian not there. Now, this felt very random and out of nowhere. Now, to be fair, they could have been building this up towards Collision because that's the main focus that they are, is mainly on Collision. So maybe they've been showing this on Collision, but on Dynamite, they have never shown this ever. So it was very weird for Kip Sapien to be doing the things he was doing in this match. But they was having miscommunication, which led to their downfall, which allowed Adam and Christian to pick up the victory. I'm excited to see what they do as a tag team, which I'm assuming is going to involve the AEW tag team titles. So I'm assuming that's where this is going. Don't know what you do with the matriarchy or patriarchy, whatever you want to call them. Don't know what you do with them, but I'm excited to see what Christian and Cope do as a tag team. But nothing really to discuss with this match. This was a fine, okay match. It was fine for what it was. I'm excited to see what Christian and Cope do as a tag team, and hopefully it eventually leads to an AEW Tag Team Championship reign. Speaking of the AEW Tag Team titles, we end up getting the Hurt Syndicate versus FTR versus Brodito. This match was really good. Really enjoyed this match. Now, the only thing I kind of hate about this match is that it is a triple threat tag team match, which is the stipulation of you could tag out to the other team, which I think is always dumb. Also, too, it's very confusing on whether or not who's in the match, because there's so many times where sometimes they don't even tag each other out. They just get inside the ring and then they just consider them in the match. Like towards the end of the match, you end up getting a moment where it was Brody King and Dax Hardwood who was in the match. But out of nowhere, Bandito comes in, takes advantage, ends up getting the pinfall, even though he wasn't tagged in. Like, I rewatched it like 5 times to see if he tagged himself in. He never tagged himself in, so I don't understand how he was able to get the pinfall. But Brodito ended up picking up the victory due to Gates of Agony interfered in this match. They ended up attacking the Hurt Syndicate, so they weren't involved in the finish. And it was a weird, awkward moment where Bandito pinned Dax Hardwood, but then he stopped the pin, then pinned him again, and then Cash got in the ring where he could have easily prevent the pinfall, but he stopped himself, and then he tries to go again. It was botched. It was very confusing. I don't know what was supposed to happen there. I don't know if Bandito was supposed to continue the pinfall, and then Brody King was supposed to stop Cash Wheeler. I don't know what was supposed to happen there, but it was very botched, very clunky. It was very weird. But Brodito is the new AEW Tag Team Champions. This match played out not exactly how I thought it would, but I did assume that they were going to lose the tag team titles. I just didn't think Brodito was going to win. I thought that FTR was going to win to prevent, and they was going to pin Brodito, but it was the other way around. So very interested how this plays out. This could cause question whether or not the Hurt Syndicate are going to go after MJF now due to the Gates of Agony, because Gates of Agony was helping MJF on the last episode of Dynamite. So maybe MJF made a call, maybe wanted the Gates of Agony to attack the Hurt Syndicate. Also, Ricochet has some history with the Hurt Syndicate of being declined in the group, so that could play a major factor. Who knows? But Brodito is a new tag team, AEW Tag Team Champions. Interested to see where this goes, even though I really don't care for them because I think Brody King should be in the main event scene. But this looks like this is the best. This is the best they got for him. So it is what it is. Interested to see how this all plays out. Now we end up getting Swerve Strickland versus Okada for the Unified Championship. This was a really good match. Really good match. Really enjoyed it. Okada picks up the victory. They was playing a leg injury to Swerve, so it made sense. Okada picks up the victory. After the match, Okada attacks Swerve's leg. Then you end up getting Wardlow comes out, and he ends up attacking Prince Nana, and that's really it, and it's confirmed that he's in the Don Callis family. Okay. I'm not really excited about this because the Don Callis family is one of the most boring factions ever, I swear. And the problem with this also I just don't find is because the only person who benefits from the Don Callis family is literally Kyle Fletcher. Okada doesn't benefit of it at all because he doesn't need to cheat to win. And he already had the Young Bucks back him, so why does he need the Don Callis family? Now, to be fair, I understand the Young Bucks they're not EVPs anymore, but still, it's like, I don't understand why Okada is even in the Don Callis family to begin with. But the only person who benefits from this faction is literally Kyle Fletcher. And maybe Konosuke, if you want to add him in there, since he needs a mouthpiece. But everyone else, they have like 90% of the AEW roster in that entire family. Like, adding Warlow does nothing. And plus, we already done this with Warlow so many times. We done this with MJF. We done this with his group with the United Kingdom, or Undisputed Kingdom. I think that was what they call it, with Adam Cole. Like, we done this with Warlow too many times with him in factions. Like, let it go. Like, let him just be his own man. Or if he is gonna do a thing, make him a tag team or something. I don't know. But I have no interest in this. I don't see this going nowhere. We'll see how this plays out. I'm assuming Swerve is going to get surgery, because I know a bunch of AEW wrestlers supposed to get surgery. Him, with Ospreay. Like, so we don't know when this potential feud is going to happen. I really don't care for it, to be honest, but we'll see how this plays up. I have no interest in this at all. Now we end up getting Toni Storm versus Athena for the AEW Women's World Championship. This match played out exactly how I thought it was going to play out, which is Toni Storm winning and retaining, and AEW continues to prove me right that they do not care about the women's division besides Toni Storm and Mercedes. Okay, this was a okay match at best. I'm just going to admit, it was okay, it was all right. My only question is, why did Athena tap out? I don't understand it. I actually prefer a lot more submissions wins more in wrestling in general. Now, the only problem is a lot of wrestling fans take, when someone taps out way too seriously, because typically when you tap out, wrestling fans kind of count that as you being a bitch, which to a degree, it makes sense. Now, I only think that way if you're a heel tapping out, because heels are already looked as weak already, so you tapping out just makes you look even more weak. But this match the story wasn't built up enough for her to tap out. That's why I'm confused. This is giving me Jey Uso and Gunther vibes, where the story wasn't meant for Gunther to tap out. Same way with this. It's like, why did Athena tap out here? And then two, she tapped out way too quickly. She tapped out within like 5 seconds. It would have been fine. I would have been okay with her tapping out if she would have tapped out like, she was struggling, she was hanging on, she passed out, regained consciousness, then tapped out. But no, she tapped out within like the 5 seconds of her being in the submission hold. And then, why did we have this match if the whole purpose for Athena just to lose? There was no reason for her to get the contract. Like, you could have gave this to someone else. Like, there was no reason for Athena to get the contract, because this was a waste of a contract. Because what, she gonna go for a rematch after tapping out? Like, that don't look right. And then she's just going to go back to Ring of Honor, do what she's been doing, and then I've been saying this for the longest. This is just going to go back to Toni Storm and Mercedes having another match where Mercedes is going to win. Because AEW, Tony Khan, clearly does not care about the women's division. They only care about 2 women. If you ain't Toni Storm, if you ain't Mercedes, you don't matter in the women's division. You just don't. This is just going to go back to Mercedes and Toni Storm part 2, where I'm assuming Mercedes is finally going to hold the AEW World Championship, because it's going to happen sooner than later. So it is what it is. I do not care about this championship reign. I honestly don't care about Toni Storm right now, because obviously it's just going to go to Mercedes eventually, and nothing else matters in that women's division. So we'll see how this plays out, but this match was just whatever. Now we end up getting MJF versus Hangman Page for the AEW World Championship. Okay, this match was the best match on the card, but it was also the most frustrating match on the card, because this match, the logic gaps in this match makes no fucking sense. Okay, it was a point in the match where MJF puts out the table. On commentator, they're mentioning him pulling out the table can cause a disqualification. Tell me why, soon after, Hangman uses the table and uses a dead eye on the table onto MJF, and they don't call it disqualification. Like the logic gaps in this company is fucking it makes no sense. Like, it honestly makes no sense. MJF should be world champion. That's only the one example of him should be world champion. The next example of him should be world champion, it was a moment where MJF ends up, it was a ref bump. MJF ends up hitting a heat seeker. The referee is collapsing he collapses. He ends up doing a 3 count, right? But he doesn't ring the bell because he ends up passing out. So then you end up getting Mark Briscoe comes out. Security stops him. MJF turns around, sees that Hangman's foot was on a rope, so he tries to pull Hangman's foot off the ropes before the referee sees it. The referee regains consciousness and then prevents MJF from pulling the leg off the ropes, and ends up basically making it seem like if Hangman had his foot on the rope the whole time. That makes no fucking sense, because you counted the 3 count. If you saw his foot on the rope before, you wouldn't have counted the 3 count. Number 2, how would you know that Hangman didn't put his foot on the rope later or after the 3 count? So you just assume that it was before you counted 3? That makes no sense. And also, you have no memory of Hangman even putting his foot on the rope because you collapsed. You passed out. You passed out like, and you don't even know how. And plus, even if you passed out, you wouldn't know how long you passed out for. So like, this made no sense. That spot made no sense. I get what they was going for, but the execution was so fucking stupid and so dumb. Then you end up getting a bunch of chaos, ref bump. It was a moment where MJF ends up using his contract to knock Hangman out, but Hangman, of course, kicks out because he's Superman, of course. Then you end up getting the reverse angle of Hangman using the contract on MJF when the referee was distracted. He ends up hitting a buckshot lariat to pick up the victory. This match was a complete mess. It was a great match, but the overbooking of this match was just ridiculous. It was overcomplicated, overbooked, made no sense. I don't even know what to say. This match played out how I expected to play out. It just made MJF look like a dumbass. Like, you made MJF look worse going after this match, which I thought was impossible, but apparently you did. And I don't know where you go from here. I'm assuming eventually MJF will win the AEW World Championship with the contract, but bro, this match just made MJF look like a dumbass. And I'm not even excited for a rematch because the booking of this match was just chaotic. It was a great banger. It was a banger of a match, but the booking was just ridiculous. Hangman retains. We'll see how this plays out, but this was a complete mess. Then we get the main event, the steel cage, the lights out steel cage match. I'm not even going to discuss many of the spots, but the main thing I really want to focus on was really the babyfaces winning this match. But then after the match, you get the Death Riders attacking Will Ospreay. Why? We already know Will Ospreay has to get surgery. Why are the Death Riders attacking him after the match? You don't need to write him off TV. You don't. He's already getting surgery. What is the purpose of this? They already what we're gonna rerun this weak ass feud after he comes back? Like, we don't need to rerun this feud. Darby and Will Ospreay got their revenge. They won the match. That's it. What else can you do? You did a lights out steel cage match. What else is there more to do with this feud? There's nothing else to do with this feud. It was over. Why do we need them to attack him just to, like, I don't understand. Look, this was a great steel cage lights out match. It was a great match. Babyfaces win. Overall, Forbidden Door, it was a fine pay-per-view. It was a fine pay-per-view. I'm not even going to discuss the other matches because there's a reason why I didn't discuss them in my predictions, because I don't care and they're not that important. Overall, it was a decent pay-per-view. You guys let me know your overall thoughts and opinions down below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that's it.